Yo, what's up, y'all? It's the MMA Analyst. I'm back at it again. Had a little bit of time off. Had some things to take care of. But everything's all good. Everything's actually real good. So I guess that's good. Missed a few events. Some crazy stuff happened. We saw some broken legs or some shins, I guess you want to call it, and busted elbows from dudes who wouldn't tap, and jaws got put out of place, and concussions, and it was some pretty crazy stuff. And you'll definitely hear my thoughts from my year-round first annual MMA roundup. I was doing it with Chase, UFC, the Phantom UFC fan, along with a lot of the other guys who do this online. Should be a lot of fun looking back at the years, seeing what's going on. But anyways, right now, this is about UFC 92, the Ultimate. It's a crazy card. It's got basically 3 main events. It's got some other stuff. A fight I don't understand it's on this main card, but whatever. You can't please everybody. Like I said, 3 amazing events. It might as well be 3 amazing main events on one card. And let's get right down to it. Forrest Griffin versus Rashad Evans. This is for the light heavyweight championship of the world. The UFC, but the world. They have all the dudes, basically. Forrest Griffin, 16-4. He's coming off the biggest win of his career. And the fight that made him champion of the toughest division. Forrest Griffin he's looking to defend his light heavyweight title against fellow Ultimate Fighter reality show winner Rashad Evans. Forrest Griffin's got 7 subs. One of them was over Shogun Rua in Shogun's debut. He's got 3 KOs, and Forrest is given most credit, I'd say, for being just tough and durable, and he just loves to fight. To be completely honest, he doesn't have the best stand-up. He wouldn't tell you that. I'm not going to tell you that. His ground game isn't world-class. His wrestling is good enough. And like I said, when it really comes down to it, he just really likes to fight, and he's pretty damn good at it. I was not a believer, and you just can't look results in the face for so long and deny it. So, Forrest Griffin, he doesn't need me to say it, and y'all probably don't need me to say it, but I'm going to say it because I need me to say it. Forrest Griffin is for real. He started his MMA career back in 2001. He started off 0-1, but hey, who could blame him? He was fighting Dan Severn, who at the time was 48-6 with 27 submissions by wins by submission. Yeah, when you start, you're 0-0 and the other dude's 48-6. That's crazy. And the guy's Dan Severn. Anyways, he went on to beat Jeff Monson, Travis Fulton, Chael Sonnen, and he lost again to Jeremy Horn a few years later. He went to the Ultimate Fighter Season 1 with a record of 9-2, and the rest, as they say, is a history. Since then, he's beat Stephan Bonner twice, Shogun again, he beat Rampage, and his only losses have been to Keith Jardine and Tito Ortiz. He fights out of Las Vegas. He trains with Extreme Couture. He's always trying to improve his game. He used to be a guy that just went out there and loved to brawl. And, Dana White will attribute a lot of the success of the TV show to Forrest Griffin's brawling tactics when he fought with... got my dog going crazy. When he fought with Stephan Bonner. But since then, he's basically shown a lot of growth or self-preservation, especially when he fought Rampage. He managed to avoid what could have been a real bad outcome. He kept the distance. He kept throwing powerful leg strikes. He kept utilizing pretty good wrestling against a very strong Quentin Rampage Jackson. Forrest is a big guy, and he will need to use every ounce of his frame and his skills when facing Sugar Rashad Evans. Both these guys are, I think they're like both 29. For Rampage, Rashad Evans is undefeated in 13 fights. He's 12-0-1. He's coming off a devastating KO, just bow over the top. You know what I'm talking about against Chuck Liddell. He was just boom, and that was lights out for Chuck. He was instantly given the title shot that would pit Season 1 winner against Season 2 winner of The Ultimate Fighter. And they're fighting each other for the light heavyweight championship title. Rashad Evans has also defeated Michael Bisping. He defeated Bonner, Salmon, Jason Lambert, Hoger, Brad Imes, and this is all well in the UFC. Although he started out just a great wrestler, similar to Forrest, he's improving himself. He's trained to the point now where he has great boxing, great movement, and he's obviously got that knockout power. He's knocked people out with his legs and his fists. Evans trains under Jackson Submissions Fighting, aka I call him NTC, Nipple Tweaking Crew. I don't know if that looks. You know what I'm talking about, though, right? He's definitely come into this game plan into this fight with a game plan and a lot of confidence. What do I think is going to happen? First things first, I believe Rashad Evans is a better striker. He has more power in his punches. He's faster. He's the better wrestler, and he really is the superior all-around athlete. Forrest, on the other hand, he's bigger. The guy walks around at like 240 and cuts down to 205. He's got better jiu-jitsu, he's got better stamina, and he's got the heart and the belt of a champion. I don't think this fight will become a war. Rashad is a counterpuncher, and even if Forrest Griffin reverts back to his old ways and just goes wild, even if he goes back to old school, Rashad is still going to be on his bike. He's going to be moving around. He's not going to engage in that type of a fight. So with that, based on Rashad's counterpunching styles, there is potential for Rashad Evans to counterpunch his way to a losing decision. Nobody is going to argue that Rashad won the first round against Chuck Liddell. He lost the first round. He won the second round that he knocked him out in, but he was winning that round anyways when he kind of found his range. But that first round is the kind of round that Rashad Evans, he has a lot of those types of rounds when he's fighting, and he could lose a 5-round decision if he doesn't do what he needs to do, and he needs to get that KO punch, or at least that TKO punch that'll leave Griffin open for a whole lot of beatdown, once he gets that initial, where am I at? But my heart and my head is with Rashad, and I don't think this will be one of the situations where they will be let down. I do think Rashad's cardio will be better than ever. It definitely has been a problem in the past. I think he will catch Forrest Griffin. This 5 minutes, 5 rounds. That's 25 minutes for Rashad to dance his way to a clear overhand right. There's no situation really in which Rashad can win by decision. I don't care what anybody says. I'm not saying things are corrupt. I'm just saying when Rampage Jackson loses first round to 2 of the 3 judges against Forrest Griffin, in a fight where Forrest Griffin was on his back, almost knocked out and holding on to dear life, when that situation happens and 2 of the judges say, and the winner of the first round is the dude that was almost knocked out, it leads me to believe that something's going on. So Rashad can't win by decision, just like Rampage couldn't win by decision. So he needs to get the finished fight. He can't let it go to the judges' hands. I don't think he will. I think that he will end up getting this TKO in the 3rd round. This is a very, very, very tough fight to call. Now for a fight that isn't that tough to predict. Minotauro Nogueira versus Frank Mir. Minotauro, though Fedor is definitely the number one fighter at heavyweight, and he has 2 wins over Nogueira, no heavyweight in the world can really boast a more impressive record than Minotauro Nogueira. He's 31-4, and he's got wins over basically everybody who isn't named Fedor Emelianenko. Nogueira has basically submitted his way through the division. He was the Pride champion. He's the interim UFC champion. He's got wins over Tim Sylvia, Josh Barnett, Fabricio Verdum, Sergey Karatanov. He beat Heath Herring 3 times. The first time was most impressive. That's when Herring was youngest and most hungry and had most potential. He beat Krokop. And these were some wars. Krokop was a war. He beat Dan Henderson, Semi Schilt, Rico Rodriguez, Jeremy Horn, Mark Coleman, and I'm even going to say Bob Sapp, because if you saw the fight, you'll know that, I don't think you can find 3 guys in the world that can beat Bob Sapp the way Nogueira beat Bob Sapp. Getting slammed on his head, in like a pile driver, being on the bottom. Difficult situation for Minotauro to go through and then come out with the submission. Anybody can walk out and kick Bob Sapp in the head and make him fall to the ground and cry, but the way Minotauro beat him is most impressive in my eyes. Anyways, Nogueira has amazing hands. Like I said, his boxing is great. He's got world-class jiu-jitsu, and more importantly, I believe that his transition from is back in the wild. It happened a long time ago, but his transition from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to MMA has been the most sustainable and successful transition and utilization of MMA, of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in MMA. I got a cold or something. Anyways, a lot of people believe that Minotauro will win any fight if there's no time limit. They say, he doesn't get knocked out, he doesn't get submitted. All he needs is more time. In Fedor's fight, Fedor turned his head into a basketball, and it was just maybe like a handball or whatever, and just bam, 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 just off the ground, he had him, and it was just bouncing his head off the mat. He was just taking it. Oh, my head! It didn't matter. None of it mattered. He would not get finished. He would not get knocked out. You can't sub him. He's been crazy. He also lost to Dan Henderson back in like 1999. He lost to Josh Barnett. But, really, Minotauro is his kryptonite, is Fedor. And this fight, he's not fighting Fedor. So, y'all know where I'm going. Who is he fighting? He's fighting Frank Mir. Frank Mir, 11-3. He's the former UFC champion, and he will face the former Pride heavyweight champion for the UFC interim belt. I don't know how this works out. You can't have the UFC champion and then the interim champion, and then they fight, and then you have the undisputed. That's retarded. It works for for hype, but it doesn't work for common sense. You've got the interim champion when there isn't a champion, and that's the way it works. Then when there is a champion, then there's no more interim champion. But, it's all good. The champion is going to fight the interim champion. Right now, the champion is Brock Lesnar, and the interim champion is Nogueira. He's going to fight Mir. We'll see what happens. Anyways, we all know the story about Mir. He got the belt at a young age. He was impressive. He ran through a lot of dudes. Then all of a sudden, bam, broke his leg in an accident, a biking accident. Came back just a shell of his former self. Rededicated his life to MMA. Returned to the athlete that he is today. And now he's ready to go, ready to break more arms or something like that. Mir has 7 submissions of his 11 wins. And really, though, none of them were too notable. He's really got 2. He's got the broken arm hand delivered to Tim Sylvia to get on the title, and then he's got that knee bar that temporarily grounded Brock Lesnar's rocket headed for MMA stardom. He's also got wins over Anthony Hardonk. He's got 2 over Wes Sims. He tapped Tank Abbott. He beat Pete Williams, and he beat some other guys. But in this match, Mir, or as Brock Lesnar would say, Frank Mir has a problem. The guy who's facing him is literally better than him at everything, including his biggest strength, which is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Striking, wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, heart, stamina, ring experience, you name it, Nogueira is the favorite. And I don't think that Mir will be able to defy the odds. Mir will not sub Nogueira. He'll not KO Nogueira. If by some chance he does stun Nogueira, Nogueira's ability to come back and recover from brutal head kicks is clear. I don't see this fight hitting the ground until the latter rounds. I think it will be a stand-up match where Nogueira will basically completely outclass, outwork, and tire Mir. Kind of look to like Herring versus Nogueira 3 before that head kick, when Herring was just getting his face lit up. Look for like BJ Penn versus GSP in the first round, where BJ Penn's where GSP's face just looked like a beat up jack-o'-lantern or something like that. But then after he gets tired, after his face gets beat up, after he softens it up a little bit, it'll hit the ground, and then that's when Nogueira will get another submission on his record. He will be the undisputed interim champion, and then he will face Brock Lesnar, and we will talk about that in a few months. Ooh, that'll be nice. All right, up next in a fight that is it's an amazing fight. It's a tough one to call. It's a heartbreaker because I don't want any of these guys to lose right now. We've got Quentin Rampage Jackson versus Vanderlei, the Axe Murderer Silva, the third installment. Damn, they both reached the top of the mountain. They've both been champs. Vanderlei was a champ in Pride. Quentin was the champ in the UFC. Let's move with Quentin right now. Quentin's got 28 wins, 7 losses, and 13 of his wins have come by knockout, 7 by submission. He used to train with Juanito. He's kind of had problems with training camps all through his career. Now he trains at Wolf's Lair with Michael Bisping and Congo and a couple other dudes. Quentin Rampage Jackson, he's strong. He's crazy strong. He's crazy tough. Like when people say like Forrest Griffin's tough, Quentin's tough. Not many people can take the kind of beatings that Quentin's taken and just walk away. He's got KO power. He's got that slam page strength. He's got a chin like nobody's business. And like I said, he can lift a grown man and just power bomb him on his head at will. He's got wins over Dan Henderson. He's got 2 over Chuck Liddell. He's got an impressive win over Matt Lindland. He's got that nasty knockout over Ricardo Arona. He beat Murillo Bustamante, Kevin Randleman, Igor Vovchanchin. And he's even got a controversial win over Ninja Hua. It's no wonder, that Rampage is considered one of the best fighters at 205 in the world. The only losses I'll really mention, just because, is he's got the recent disappointing loss to Forrest Griffin, and then he has the 3 near-death experiences at the hands of ex-shootbox fighters, Shogun Hua, where he had his knee, his rib broken, and he was kicked and stomped and all types of other stuff. Looked like it should have been a crime. And then The other one was the attempted murders at the hands of Vanderlei Silva. Those fights were just vicious, and he's, in the first one, he's taking the punches and smiling, just cheesing, and talking and all types of stuff, but he got his ass whooped, and he's looking to get revenge, I guess, to kill two birds with one stone. This isn't a rubber match, but everybody wants to see it, and there aren't many fights, where a guy's 0-2 and you still want to see the fight. This is one of them. I'm ready for it. Vanderlei Silva, 32 wins, 8 losses, 22 wins by knockout. Ex-shoot fighter. Now with Extreme Couture. He went unbeaten for 4 years. During his reign, he took out Mesger, Sakuraba twice, Quentin Rampage Jackson twice, Dan Henderson, and many others. However, many, are wondering, how much is left for the axe murderer. What does he have left in him? Though no one really faulted him when he fought Crow Cop, and he lost to the left high kick at Final Conflict and Pride, and most didn't really worry when he lost to Dan Henderson in his very next bout, in which I guess people say he had the flu, and he da-da-da-da-da. After dropping the third straight loss to Chuck Liddell, better believe everybody was worried. Was Vanderlei Silva done? Was the meanest Silva in the world, finished, basically? And, he had lost 3 of his last 4. He lost, and then he came back in the brutal rape choke of Keith Jardine. Gave us all hope. But even there, people want to know, is that where it stops? Who else can he beat? Can he at least beat the guy that he has, been able to beat throughout his career? And Quentin Rampage Jackson, a very tough guy. Quentin Rampage Jackson is in a similar boat as Vanderlei Silva. Even though, Vanderlei has lost 3 of his last 4. Rampage has won 6 of his last 7, and 2 were over Chuck and Dan Henderson. But like after his old Grand Theft Auto 4 thing, sideswiping cars and just doing his monster truck show, after that people are wondering what's up with him in his mind. Is he still there? Is he able to deliver the way he used to? And I think this fight will not just make way for the next title shot contender, but it'll also shed a ton of light on these guys' careers from where they're going from this point on. Really, this is a fight that I wish could happen with no losers, or at least no effects of what happens to a loser. I'm a huge fan of both these guys. I know they each need a win for their own humongous reasons, their own unique reasons. And, Rampage's career, he can handle a loss right now. His career can, but I don't know if his mind can. Damn, I'm sorry, y'all. Nobody wants to hear me clearing my throat, but that's the only way I'm going to get through this video. I didn't even know I was sick till I started this. But, damn. Alright. Vanderlei, on the other hand, he really can't lose. That would make it 1 win in his last 5 fights, dating back to September 10th, 2006. That's over 2 years. That's when your career is pretty much damn near over. So you can't do that. However, a victory over Rampage Jackson would be okay, he had some tough times, but he's back. Thing is, there can only be 1 winner, and until the loss to Forrest Griffin, I would have swore the winner would have been Rampage Jackson. And it wasn't even the fact that he lost the fight, but it was Rampage's inability to deal with leg kicks, and also the way he panicked when he was in the clinch for only seconds. In that fight, Forrest Griffin put him in the clinch, and Rampage just lost his mind. He oh god! I don't know if he had wartime flashbacks, and he felt the knees, but no, all jokes aside, dude couldn't handle the clinch. And I would say if Rampage could get through the whole fight without getting in the clinch, then I would give the fight to Rampage. But I don't think that that's possible. We know Rampage has the KO power to just put somebody out. In this case, it would be Vanderlei Silva. He could just put him out. But the clinch seems inevitable. I think it will happen before Rampage can get off that big shot. And I think it will be produced in the second round. I'm pulling for Page here. Not like in a way where I don't care what happens to Vanderlei. But I really want Page to win this. But I don't think it's going to happen. Again, I wish they could both win. But it's not possible. Get over it, man. Vanderlei Silva, the Axe Murder, round 2, TKO. Alright, so those are those 3 huge matches, back to back to back. I imagine the first fight's going to start around 11 o'clock at night. So between 11 and the end of this night, it's going to be probably the best 2 hours of this year. So that's going to be crazy. But I guess they wanted to throw in a bad apple or something. This next fight, I don't know why it's on the main card. I don't even know. I don't know what's going on. This is CB Dalloway versus Mike Massenzio. CB is the Ultimate Fighter reality show runner-up. He lost to Amir 2 times. One of them was professional, one of them was in the house, so it doesn't count on his official record. In his last pro fight, he defeated Jesse Taylor. He's 7-1. CB, cauliflower lip Dalloway. He's a wrestler. He's got some pretty good cross training. He's pretty good in jiu-jitsu. Obviously not the best. He got caught in 2 arm bars and with a quickness to Amir. And Amir's he's no BJ Penn or Damian Maia. But he's got some good cross training nonetheless. He's 25 years old. He's fighting out of Arizona. He's still looking to make a real name for himself in the UFC and his division. And kind of like Mike Tyson. I forget what interview they were like, Mike Tyson. I don't know what. That's how I feel about this fight right now. Like what? I don't know, man. So I'm just gonna move on. Mike Massenzio, 11-2, 6 wins by submission. He's got notable wins over Dan Miller. He's got a quick submission over a ground fighting handicap Drew McFedries. He's CB will most likely be Massenzio's toughest opponent as of late. He will not be able to just take him down. CB is going to be the bigger guy. He's going to be the stronger guy. You should know Kami versus Dean Lister's on the undercard. Anyways, CB Dalloway will likely win this by boring decision. I think he will gas just before the third, and he will lose a third round, but he will win 29-28 over Mike Massenzio. The biggest event of this year. I don't understand why this fight is on the main card. Czech Congo. I'm not talking about this next one, the one I just talked about. This next one's okay. Czech Congo versus Mustafa Al-Turk. Congo 17-4 in the UFC since the summer of 2006. He's been unable to rattle off that third straight win in a row. I think at any given time, if Czech Congo would have went on a 3-fight winning streak, he would have probably got his title shot. But he wins 2, loses 1, wins 2, loses 1. He's got wins over Christian Wellish, Asuario Silva, Dan Evanson, and the ghost of Mirko Cro Cop. He's got 2 deplorable losses to Heath Herring and Carmelo Marrero. He's a big, strong guy with pretty good striking. Not K1 elite striking, but definitely enough to pose a threat to most in the UFC and MMA in general. But his problem is on the ground. He's like a fish out of water. He's like a dead fish in space or something. He's like there's no water near. He's like a fish that was born like in a desert. He's nowhere near home on the ground. He's the most consistently bad guy in the UFC when it comes to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling. The last time we saw this was against Heath Herring, where it looked like they were playing a game of who can look the worst on the ground. Czech Congo, I remember like when he first came out, and Joe Rogan was like, somebody needs to kidnap this guy and take him away and only teach him jiu-jitsu for the next 2 years. And that's still the truth. Anyways, he trains with Wolf's Lair. Again, like I told you, he's training with Rampage now. He's training with Michael Bisping. He needs to train with Damian Maia or Palaharis or Saulo Ribeiro or something. I don't know. Anyways, he's very cocky. He talks a lot of junk. And normally I don't mind that if you win. But if you look like you've never done jiu-jitsu in the world and you're an MMA fighter, I think you should do more training and less talking. He'll be facing ADCC European Champion in 2005, Mustafa Al-Turk. ADCC equals grappling. Grappling equals ground. Ground equals trouble for Congo. Al-Turk is a European fighter. He was the Cage Rage heavyweight champion until recently, when he relinquished his belt. He's 6-3 with 4 KOs and 2 subs, and he should come into the fight with one game plan: get this fight to the ground. If he does that, it should be an easy, he'll probably take him down and land in side mount. If he doesn't, then he should take him down, pass the guard easily, move to side mount, and at that point, just go for the Kimura or maybe some elbows. It should not be tough. This should be an easy win for Mustafa Al-Turk if he can get the fight to the ground. I do see, he's got 4 wins by KO, but none of his opponents were as good on their feet or as big as Congo. So maybe he should completely forget about stand-up. He does have the potential to get caught with a knee on the way in for a takedown or whatever it is. But I think you should set up the takedown with some strikes, take him down, do what he's got to do. If he does what I'm talking about, it should be a first round submission. Mustafa Al-Turk. All right, for a UFC card dubbed the best of the year, that's a pretty good card for the main event, at least for the main card. It's got amazing fights. It's got 2 title fights basically. A lot of history can be made on this card. It's really going to be sick. Minus that one little fight in there, you know what I'm talking about, but like I said, you can't please everybody. But anyways, on to the undercard. I'm just going to run through it real quick. Yushin Okami, like I said before, he's fighting Dean Lister. I think he should get his title shot if he beats Dean Lister, and I think he will. Actually, it's a tough situation now. Yushin Okami's not like the only guy anymore. If Damian Maia gets one more win, he'll probably get a title shot or be in line for one. They're talking about giving Talis Lightus the title shot right now. Dan Henderson is fighting Rich Franklin, which is a fight that I am very excited for. The winner of that is going to be the guy who is on the next Ultimate Fighter TV show. He's going to fight Bisping, and then the winner of Bisping and whoever that is, most likely Henderson, will probably get a title shot. So, you know what? I'm not sure what's going to happen with Okami. Okami could be like the Fabricio Verdum of his division. They might not give this dude a title shot again. I don't know. Wait, did I say again? Anyways, I think he'll be able to beat Dean Lister. I think he'll win by decision. Yushin Okami by decision. Alright. Anthony Hardonk, I think he's going to win by KO over Mike Wessel in the first round. I've got Matt Hamill winning in a very long, drawn, boring, gassed out, unanimous decision over Reese Andy. And I've got Chonin winning by decision over Blackburn. And finally, last but not least, with the heavyweight in the UFC that has better striking than Congo, Patrick Berry's making his debut. I've got Patrick Berry damn near knocking off Dan Evanson's head with a high kick that could be up for talk for potential knockout of the year. It could get ugly, folks. It could very well get ugly. The violence that we saw from the last two UFCs is not over. It has only begun, especially with that fight and then Wanderlei Silva and Quinton Jackson. I just hope that nobody stops the fight early, because we know that Quinton can take a lot of punishment, and we know that he doesn't really get knocked out. So, I mean, he did when he got put through the ropes, but for the most part, he does not get knocked out. I hope that fight doesn't get stopped early. That would be the biggest atrocity in recent MMA. But we'll see. Overall, again, a few nice UFC debuts, 3 amazing bouts, a light heavyweight display of top fighters, potential history to be made. I've been waiting for this card for a long time. It is damn near impossible for this card to disappoint. I will be back for the recap or the review. I will be back real soon for the K1 Fields Dynamite card. These year-end cards are always a treat. I know they do it because of New Year's, but I feel more like they're doing it because of Christmas. Because these are like gifts. They're just like MMA hugging me back for following and recognize what it always is. MMA, y'all. It's important. It's important, y'all. Peace.